All right, I'm ready to rip into the sucks of the week and praise the studs of the week for NFL Week 6. NFL Week 6 highlights and recap right here, right now. And I'm telling you, in reality, there's some upsets, including Tampa Bay losing to the Steelers. We're going to talk a little bit about that, but mainly want to focus on each position and talk about which ones are the highs, which ones are the lows, and what to do moving forward to NFL Week 7. So, fantasy football, Week 6, I can't believe 6 in the books, minus today's Monday Night Football game. We've got the Denver Broncos versus the Chargers. That should be an entertaining one. Aside from that, I can't believe we're heading into NFL Week 7. And today we honor the studs and sucks at each position. I'm ready to dive in, guys. And in the comments below, let me know below, right? If you're watching on YouTube, in the comments below, let me know, did anyone crap the bed for you? Who did really well for you? Love to get that interaction and feedback below. All right, guys? Before you get into this, guys, Manscaped.com, you know they're endorsing the podcast. They're sponsoring Manscaped.com. Shower Lion 20 is the code you want to do to save yourself 20%. Amazing products. Try the Boxers 2.0. Try in my hand here, I've actually got the Refined Manscaped amazing cologne here, guys. Really good stuff here. They've got cologne. They got body wash. They've got underwear. Boxers 2.0. They got the trimmer. Go to manscaped.com. Use code ShowerLine20. Save yourself 20% upon checkout. And secondly, guys, like I said, we got Denver versus the Chargers. Chargers are a 4.5-point favorite tonight. They're at home. If you guys know the winner, enhance that game watching experience. Head on over to mybookie.ag. Use promo code FFC and double your first deposit. That's the site that I use to enhance my game watching experience. There's a code where you can scan the code right here, and it's mybookie.ag. The code you want to use to enhance that game watching experience is FFC. All right, guys, go double your first deposit, and that's mybookie.ag, code FFC tonight. If you know the winner, go enhance that game watching experience. All right, let's dive in this from the quarterback position here. Let's talk about the guys that crushed it. I got to tell you, Joe Burrow crushed it. Matt Ryan, Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, all having good weeks. Marcus Mariota, believe it or not, he's doing well, but his receivers not so much. Drake London didn't have the greatest game. Kyle Pitts finally scored a touchdown. But Marcus Mariota, I don't get it, man. He's doing okay in fantasy some weeks, but his receivers, not so good. Kind of expected that a little bit, but I thought more volume would have been going to Drake London. He's been a bit of a disappointment. But Mariota finishing top 5 amongst quarterbacks is, again, without the Monday night game. Patrick Mahomes, Justin Fields, Bailey Zappi finishing 9th amongst quarterbacks, Teddy Bridgewater and Jimmy Garoppolo. Jalen Hurts also rounding out the top 11 here with 16.9 points. Not the greatest games. Now, I'm going to go over the sucks here as well, but I will tell you there were some upsets here this week in reality, including, I can't believe this, Atlanta beating the 49ers 28-14. That was something to, kind of shock the world a little bit. Buccaneers actually losing to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh coming off a terrible loss last week. Coming back, bouncing back. They lost 38 to 8 or 3 or something like that. Yeah, 38-3 to the Bills last week. Come back this week and beat the Bucs 20-18. That was another weird kind of upset. No one expected that. And the Jets, on the road, 27-10 beating Green Bay Packers. So 3 things that kind of jumped out at me. They were kind of like, wow, I can't believe this happened. But that's very interesting because the Jets and Breece Hall is the guy I was telling you, draft him in the 3rd round. Everybody grabbed Breece Hall. Everybody was sleeping on him. And sure enough, he's crushing it, right? So now everybody's riding Breece Hall. Now, I got to tell you something here before I continue with the studs and sucks at each position. I got to tell you, I got a quick story. Everyone's saying, the mainstream constituents were battling, but they're saying, hey, we don't like running back. Well, not that they don't like running backs. They're just like, hey, we're going 0 RB, right? Let's go 0 RB. Let's go wide receivers. And nobody's talking about guys like Damion Pearson, right? I was talking about it back in April and May. I have receipts on that. Damion Pearson, also Kenneth Walker. I told you to draft him ahead of Penny. I'm like, Penny, years 12 from now. I could see that he's not going to finish the season. It's blatantly obvious. And, he's had 5 touchdowns in 3 seasons. Penny was not good. Now they're all riding him. Not only are they riding Damion Pearson, Breece Hall, and Kenneth Walker, not only are they riding him, telling him, hey, these guys are amazing. Pick them up in Dynasty. Make sure you keep them. They're going to be top next year. Not only are they doing that, they're talking about running backs. They weren't even talking about running backs before the season. Now, all of a sudden, anyway, the point I'm trying to make is this is why you guys got to subscribe to the podcast, because you'll be light years ahead of the competition, all right? Let's move on to the quarterback. It's just pathetic, man. Everyone's right. And again, we're going to talk about Kenneth Walker and how he did his first week starting. Guys that crapped the bed, I'm going to give you guys a suck of the week here. Matt Stafford, 11.82 points. That is ridiculous because a lot of people started him thinking that he's going to have a good week. Didn't. Aaron Rodgers, 11.84 points, 11.84. Cooper Rush, some people may have started him in deeper leagues, 5.24. But actually, I would say the suck of the week here has to be Carson Wentz, 4.16 points. Absolutely ridiculous for a guy. Again, people thought, hey, we're going to start this guy. He's coming off, 21-point week 5, had a couple good weeks of week 1 and 2, just under 28 points those weeks. And again, people are like, hey, man, I think I feel safe with Carson Wentz. No way. It's Carson. You guys got to remember it's Carson Wentz. Like, I don't know how to tell you this, right? But you got to, reality check. So I would say Carson Wentz is the suck of the week here. 4.16 points, Carson Wentz. And as soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to rip him on social media. And that's what I do. I do my sucks of the week on my reels and all that stuff on TikTok as well. So again, 4.16 points, Carson Wentz. Ridiculous. Moving on to the running back position. I'm going to talk real quickly about Kenneth Walker. Currently sitting 7th amongst running backs here. Again, going into the Monday Nighter here. And again, maybe Melvin Gordon has a good week or Austin Eckler continues his reign there. But 19 points for Kenneth Walker, 21 attempts. He had a total of, 23 touches, 97 yards, 4.6 yards per carry, 1 touchdown. And again, getting 3 targets, 2 receptions, and 13 yards receiving, totaling 19 points. Again, this is his first week into this offense as the starter. And he looked good on a couple runs, breaking a lot of tackles, looking slippery, looking elusive. Again, I like Kenneth Walker. He's in a great position. And moving forward, again, RB1, RB2 type potential. That's what we're looking at here. Hopefully he continues doing well. Now, he played Arizona, not the greatest rush defense, but I'm still assuming that he's going to get the volume and still do solid, all right? So he finished 7th. But other guys did well. Deion Jackson ended up playing against him in a league, and I need Justin Herbert to score a lot of points today. 28.1 points for Deion Jackson. Stevenson having himself a game with Harris out, 25.1 points. Christian McCaffrey back at it, 22.8. Leonard Fournette, I saw him. He was running pretty hard, looking solid, 22.1 points. Breece Hall finishing 5th here, 20.1. Again, Breece Hall, 5.8 yards per carry, 116 yards on the ground, and a touchdown. Breece Hall, rock solid. Kenyon Drake having another game of his life here. 19.7 points. That was a little surprising. But either way, Kenyon Drake, I don't think anyone started him. Walker and Barkley, and I got to talk about this. Let's talk about Saquon Barkley and downing the ball at the end of the game here to preserve his team and kill the clock. I got to talk about Saquon Barkley. He had 1 touchdown near the end of I think it was 4th quarter, which is great. He combined for 18.5 points. But at the end of the game, he had an opportunity to run in another touchdown, and he took a knee near the goal line. And that made me livid, guys. If you saw the video on Insta, if you're not following Instagram, make sure you follow at Fantasy Football Counselor. Made me absolutely livid. And this is what I don't like. I don't like when, people get soft and you say it's a good football move. Still, man, play it out. Play it out. There's no reason when you are awarded points, you back away from points. I don't like that mentality, that sheep mentality. And I think Saquon Barkley should have went through with that touchdown. It is what it is. He still did well for our fantasy teams, but we wanted more, obviously. Alvin Kamara, not number 9, and Joe Mixon, number 10. But again, the Saquon Barkley, very upsetting. Now, let's talk about the suck of the week here at the running back position. I would say everybody, not everybody, but most people played kind of where they're supposed to. There wasn't really anybody that's like, oh my God, you really, really sucked. But I would say Clyde Edwards-Helaire, coming off a big week, I think last week, only had 3.3 points. Very disappointing for people who believe that, that had Clyde Edwards-Helaire and saying, oh man, this guy may be doing well. He really sucked. And Nick Chubb, 8 points. This is a guy that has been solid. He's been solid every single week in, week out. 25 points last week. His peak was 29.3 points in standard. Now, a lot of people don't play standard, but 32.3 in week 2. Again, having a good season, but comes out with 8 points this week. Very disappointing for a lot of people, especially people who started him and thinking, hey, man, I got Nick Chubb in as my RB1. I'm rock solid. It's going back to his ways here, so not really good. And also, I got to mention here, Aaron Jones, 7.4 points. The guy I told you to avoid. He's had some dud weeks, and that could continue. That's kind of expected with this offense. Devontae Adams being gone, A.J. Dillon being integrated, A.J. Dillon being the RB1 last year. I wasn't investing a second-round pick in Aaron Jones, and he puts up a dud of 7.4 points. 7.4. So I would say Aaron Jones is the suck of the week at 7.4 points. I'm going to give it to him. So Carson Wentz, Aaron Jones sitting there at quarterback and running back. And again, in the comments below, let me know who you think is the suck of the week, all right? Again, at the wide receiver position, Jamar Chase finally showing up, 32.3 points. Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, Brandon Ayuk having himself a game of his life. Michael Pittman, Chase Claypool, Juju having a good game, believe it or not. Tyquan Thornton, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, guys. If you don't know who he is, New England's wide receiver. He was a second-round pick in 2022 draft out of Baylor, 6'2", 182. Tyquan Thornton, remember the name. He had himself a week 5, 0.7 points in week 5, and then he comes out here. He kind of had a little debut in week 5, didn't do anything, but then had himself a game, man, 21.3 points. Tyquan, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. I'm not good with names. Tyquan Smith, 21.3. Paris Campbell and Dante Pettis, believe it or not, 18.4 points. That's very interesting. So who's the suck of the week at the wide receiver position? I say T. Higgins, man. He crapped the bed last week. Thought everyone thought he was going to start last week. Didn't play. 10.7 points this week. That kind of sucks. Deontay Johnson, I was higher on him last year with Big Ben. I thought there'd be too many options this year. Quarterback change. We saw Pickett come out of the game near the end. Concussion protocol. Mitch Trubisky comes in. I think Claypool ended up getting himself a touchdown. But Deontay Johnson was slated as the wide receiver 1, not performing there, 8.6 points. I say he's a suck of the week, and I can't even tag him because he blocked me having a bad game or two last year. I guess he's soft and he blocked me. It is what it is. But I would say the suck of the week has to go to DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf, I'm writing this down, 5.4 points. I'm making a note here. I'm going to do a reel. We're going to tag DK Metcalf and let him know he's a suck of the week. Very, very disappointing. 7 targets, only 2 receptions there. 5.4 fantasy points, DK Metcalf. Very disappointing. Moving on here to the tight end position here. Mike Gesicki, Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce, Robert Tonyan. I actually had Gesicki and Tonyan started in a league. It's a deeper league where you can start multiple flexes and stuff. I did well that week. Won the week. Crushed it. Okay, George Kittle, Hunter Henry, Daniel Bellinger, believe it or not. Who's that guy? New York Giants, 14.8 points. Jake Ferguson, I don't know if you guys saw that last night. Dallas game. He actually caught the ball, had a nice little slick move in for the end zone. It was actually kind of a nice move, but Jake Ferguson, not bad. Zach Ertz, Dawson Knox, and Kyle Pitts, top 11. Wow, Kyle Pitts finally getting himself a receiving touchdown. Very impressive. Now, I would say the suck of the week here, I got a couple options here. Hayden Hurst, who I think people were expecting something out of him. I knew he had a tougher matchup here. Hayden Hurst, 5.1 points, but I would say Taysom Hill, because not me, but a lot of people had a 34-point week last week. A lot of people thinking like, hey, Taysom Hill is going to do that every week. Not the case. 4.54 points for a guy that, again, coming off this amazing week, doesn't even come up with a quarter of what he came up with last week. Very disappointing. Again, Taysom Hill, 4.54 points. I would give him the suck of the week. And then you got guys like Tyler Conklin, who's been relatively consistent, 2.7. Cole Kmet, 2.5. Will Disley, 2.2. Guys that had some decent games. Oh, how about this? Tyler Higbee. I'm going to say Tyler Higbee, who has been consistent. 1.7. Am I reading this right? 1.7 points, Tyler Higbee. And if I look at him, I'm going to pull up his PPR numbers. Consistent throughout. 8.9 points, 14.1, 10.1, 17.3, and 11.6. As safe as tight ends go, has himself a dud of a week 6. So I would say the suck of the week at the tight end position is Tyler Higbee with an honorable mention of Taysom Hill. Again, that's just very, very disappointing, Tyler Higbee. 1.7 points. I'm going to highlight that here. 2 targets, 1 reception. Very, very depressing. Tyler Higbee. A lot of people believed in you, but you, sir, are the suck of the week at the tight end position. So let's recap. Carson Wentz. We got Aaron Jones. We got DK Metcalf. We got Taysom Hill. We got Tyler Higbee as the sucks of the week for fantasy football week 6. Those are your week 6 sucks and studs. And I'm telling you guys, make sure you guys are subscribing. We do waiver wire coming up. And then we're going to do starts and sits. We're going to make sure you guys are covered. Make sure you guys are tuned in and subscribe. Turn on notifications because I'm doing a lot of intense reels ripping into these guys, including Saquon Barkley kneeling at the goal line. Very disappointing. All right, guys, make sure you guys are subscribed. And again, manscaped.com, showerline20. Go treat yourself right now. We'll talk soon, guys. I'm out.